What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here and for joining me on this wonderful long song Saturday. That is on this beautiful, beautiful morning. That is. I have the window open. It's bright. I have the my light on. It's right here, but I usually have it facing me and stuff. And it's so nice and beautiful today that even if I turn it off, it's not really that much of a difference. It's just kind of lighting up the back. So let's put. You gotta do either or. So. Anyways, enough about lighting, but let's go ahead and let some music light up our life at the moment. We're going to listen to Santana. It's been a while since we've listened to him. Last time we listened to Caravan Sarai. And now we're going to listen to Abraxas, the second album from the band, released in 1970. This particular album had been suggested, or at least mentioned by a few people. Let me turn my phone on Do Not Disturb so you are not disturbed. Some of you that had recommended or at least mentioned this album: Mr. Wondrous, Gaia Eterno, David Lane, Thomas Hoffman, David Oliveris, Ball Jean, Mario Burt, Silgan, Shamanic, Vando Nonsuch, Frank Pansajali, I'm trying to do this quick, Paul Hansberry, Renee Mokum, RK Gator. There's a lot of you. So thank you guys so much for the recommendation. I hope that you're ready to sit down and just enjoy some, I would assume, smooth stylings with a little bit of Latin flavor, a lot of great musicianship. It's going to be a good time. And so before we dive into that good time, if you'd like, press that like button, get it out the way. I think it even says it on the screen sometimes. Just get it out the way. If you want to support the channel, what I do here, you can do it on Patreon. Little as $2 a month. Click the link below. It's right down there. But you don't have to. That's the beauty of it. You can just sit back, chill, relax, enjoy the music. So let's go ahead and do that. Starting off with the first track, which I got to pull up here, which is going to be Singing Winds, Crying Beast, an instrumental to kick us off. Let's get into it. Let me make sure I have the volume right. I think it's right. We'll find out. Love the setup, especially with the piano. I'm turning it down just a little bit. Very much already into this. It's a beautiful intro. Echo on that piano. winds and those cymbals are constantly blowing back and forth. While the subtlety is just brewing. a really great atmospheric track to put you into that mood. Okay, we'll catch the transition on the way back. I'm not going to talk a lot about this one, but this is a sensational, calm opening to the album built upon winds and what's the G word that also winds? Gust. Built upon gust of subtlety. Just absolutely beautiful. It takes that flavor of jazz, that flavor of Latin inspiration, and just brews a beautiful, bold, but still with subtle hints of so many other things, cup of coffee, cup of musicianship and instrumental goodness that I think is a great way to enter us into the album. It's a calmer way of entering us in, but not unexciting. If that makes sense. It's not a boring way for as calm as it is. I love the moment where the music breaks away and the percussion and the bass enters, and then Santana, actually himself on the guitar, takes a more kind of backseat approach here, just dealing out a few occasional breezes of sustained guitar notes just to add into the ambiance, but it's mostly the work, I would say, of the piano that's providing the main melody, I guess you would say here, which it seems it's either going to be Michael Carabello or Greg Rowley, as they're both credited with keyboards. Carabello possibly credited with keyboards, though apparently I guess there's a dispute upon that, but that I don't know. But regardless, whoever's playing that electric piano is just sending wonderful waves of energy out there, and it sounds really, really great. The percussion, like I said, it's just a steady groove to keep things going alongside with it. I like how the winds constantly are blowing in and out, and with that, these cymbals are being used, just like, right, just that. What's the name for that? I know that there's a term for that when a drummer does that on the cymbals, that right? But what is that called? There must be an actual term for that. But whatever it is, I like how that is used to further enunciate those breezes. All right, so we're moving on to the next track. Like I said, I don't want to talk too much about it, but it does set us up quite wonderful. So the next track is going to be Black Magic Woman, which I believe we're probably all familiar with. And then it's Black Magic Woman / Gypsy Queen. So let's go ahead and get that transition right so we can listen to how it flows into it, and we will go from there. Here we go. This is a staple. Just singing it. Let's turn that one up. Almost a blues-like approach to the way he plays it. Come on.
Got a black magic woman. Got a black magic woman.
It's a classic, guys.
I've got a black magic woman. Got me so blind I can't see. That she's a black magic woman. She's trying to make a devil out of me. Don't turn your back on me, baby. Don't turn your back on me, baby. Yes, don't turn your back on me, baby. Stop messing around with your tricks. Don't turn your back on me, baby. You just might pick up my magic sticks.
The percussion drum fills, sensational. And that ride.
Got your spell on me, baby. Got
This
your
makes me want to dance.
Yes, you got your spell on me, baby. Turning my heart into stone. I need you so bad, magic woman. I can't leave you
He makes such singable lines. Isn't that a great way of bringing in a heavier break and then adding in that tempo change as well? Do they have two percussionists? They do. Okay. Blazing that fire out. Okay, Black Magic Woman is a staple for a reason, right? It's the track that all of us have heard, of course, but I don't think that makes it that diminishes it any bit. It is a fantastic track, not truck. What am I thinking? with once again just built upon subtlety that eventually starts as an ember but burns into a raging fire and inferno by the end of it. I really like how in that transition that deep guitar riff kind of stops everything for a moment, kind of causes a little bit of distress and chaos, and then it quickly moves back into the sleek, subtle machine that we've heard before, but this time, of course, with an enraged tempo. The guitar is a lot heavier in this moment, and then it just blazes forward from there. Now, while I guess you could say the heaviest part of that particular moment is the guitar, which I would say is the horseman of that apocalypse, I would say the actual apocalypse is brewed between the percussionist. So I did ask, but there are two percussionists playing here, which you could hear there were two, but I never know if that's overdubbed with the same person or not. But you are going to have, once again, Michael Carabello there, and then Jose Chapito Arias on the percussion. And I really feel that they are the two devils on your shoulder. They are the ones that are putting in the work, and I like how much production-wise the volume is focused on them. It really gives them the foreground. It really puts them stage front, not in the back where typically you would hear the percussionist, kind of behind the drums. But here, the drums from Michael Shreve are actually not really in the forefront. He's kind of playing more rhythmic atmospherics, while the percussion is really playing that main groove and coming up front with solos, interesting fills, and dilly-dallying in exciting and new ways. They're the ones up front, and I just really enjoy that and how heavy it sounds. And even Santana, when he plays at that moment, yeah, he's soloing and he's definitely bringing that more electric fire to it, but I still think that he's, in a sense, playing more sideline with an atmospheric way, or in an atmospheric way, while the percussion is really driving everything. Before that particular section, of course, it is just this romantic, suave, just kind of whispering in your ear kind of groove and song. And Santana sounds fantastic in that part. The subtleties of the guitar, which as I was listening to the guitar playing, maybe it's me, I don't think it is, but while not necessarily in the notes he's playing, the way that he delivers those notes with his guitar, it's very blues inspired. Like, I know that B.B. King isn't the only blues guitarist, but I can't help comparing some of the way that he's playing to that incredibly vocal styling where you could sing the guitar, even though there's no lyrics. Obviously there's lyrics, but there's no lyrics being played by the guitar. You could sing the melody. And I think that that's very impressive to do, not only from a of course, technical standpoint of view, but just a songwriting point of view. You want it to be memorable to the audience, to us. And I think that that's what's given this track so much staying power. Got a black magic woman. Got me so blind I can't see that she's a black magic woman. She's trying to make a devil out of me. Don't turn your back on me, baby. Don't turn your back on me. Stop messing around with your tricks. Don't turn your back on me, baby. You just might pick up my magic sticks. Don't know what that means, but got your spell on me, baby. Yes, you got your spell on me. Turning my heart into stone. I need you so bad, black magic woman. Can't leave you alone. He must have, or she must have some sort of spell on him for him to just be so head over heels about him. Now, what I think is interesting that I didn't know is this track is apparently a cover, and the original, it seems, was actually written by Peter Green from Fleetwood Mac. I did not know that. Subsequently, this song appeared on the 1969 Fleetwood Mac compilation albums English Rose, as well as later Greatest Hits. I did not know that this was a cover. Well, that's kind of interesting. The song became one of Santana's staples, one of their biggest hits, spending 13 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100. Yes, it did. I've even heard that on the radio. That's interesting. I had no idea that. I'm curious about the original now. I'm curious. All right, let's move on to the next track here, which is Oye Como Va, which, if I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure I've heard that song too because the name looks familiar. And I'm looking at the track list, and I think I've heard Samba Pa Ti, but I can't say for sure. It's just the names look familiar. I'll let you know, obviously, as we go on. But, all right, let's go ahead and get into it. Oye Como Va. I think I said it right. Sounds familiar. Oh, yeah. Okay, I know this one too. Okay. I've heard it, but I haven't heard it in a while, so I can't remember the hits.
Oye como va, mi ritmo bueno pa' gozar.
I love how big those chords are, allowing for a lot of percussion to go around it. It's that phoenix rising from the ashes. Right back into the chord structure.
Oye como va, mi ritmo bueno pa' gozar. Oye como va, mi ritmo bueno pa' gozar.
I love that great fill. Was so off. Okay, I've heard the song, but it's been a while, so I couldn't remember all the hits. I'm like, This is the type of track that if you ever go out to like a Latin bar or a club, like a dancing club or salsa night, you will hear this track. You will. And I like it because this is the type of track in which a live band is going to thrive. This is the one where in all the little bits of solo here, from the guitar solos to the organ solo, which feels nice, to once again all the percussion and the way that everything plays with each other, you can just imagine and see the live band on stage just having so much fun, smiling at each other, the interactions, and the way that the group will call out certain words. There's lyrics here, but there's not really singing. It's just like kind of yells and chants and just a mention here and there. And you can really get that live feeling even from the studio cut in this track again. And something I'm kind of feeling, and I don't know if you guys see it the same way, but the music here is, I guess I said in the beginning with the first track, it's relaxing, it's very chill, but at the same time it's very lively. There's a lot going on, but there's still a lot of room to breathe. I wouldn't say it's minimalist, but it's just kind of relaxing. But at the same time, it gets you moving. And once again, this is the type of track that even if you're sitting in your seat like I am, you want to move, you want to dance. Your hips start doing a little bit of this, and before you know it, you're on your feet doing a little bit of a bachata. You know, like it just takes you to that place. I mean, really, I said everything I could say. I think everything just sounds really great once again, and I don't want to repeat myself ad nauseum, but I do have to say that the percussion is another standout. The organ solo, which I'm assuming was played by Greg Rowley here. Greg Rowley, he's played with Santana and Journey, both of which he co-founded. Okay, well that's interesting. Was he in Santana first and then he was in Journey? And then he was in some other bands as well. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of cool. I think that he was... It looks like he was with Santana first, but he may have had some back and forth looking at the albums that he's played with and stuff. That's actually really interesting. Absolutely phenomenal organ solo. And another thing actually that I'm noticing is, at least at this point, there's no overplaying. There's no solos for the sake of it or shredding for the sake of it. And while I have no doubt that they would pull it off, and especially Santana, there's been no need for it. They shred in their own calm and melodic way. Like I said, the lyrics here are all in Spanish, but let me go ahead and translate that. Okay. Hear how my rhythm goes, good to enjoy, mulata, hey, how's it going? Mi ritmo, didn't translate everything apparently. Bueno para gozar, hey, how it goes, mi ritmo, bueno para gozar, mulata, hey, how my rhythm is going. It's just a feel-good song. Hey, pretty lady, come over here, right? My rhythm goes like this, my rhythm goes like that. Before you know it, my rhythm is going this way and that way. And also, this track is also a cover of a original song by Tito Puente, which was released in 1962. So a couple covers, at least, in this particular album. Let's move on into the next track, which is also going to be the ending of side 1 of the album, which is going to be Incident at Neshabur. Here we go. Okay, maybe this is your shredding area. Setting up some waves. Oh. Here's the rock. That's a good riff. That organ solo is fantastic. Like to switch to piano when Santana comes in. Interesting jazz breakdown, huh? Bringing back the riff. Now we're getting into the progginess, that fusion. Bossa groove. Oh yeah. Wow. Okay, that was a great way to. This started off Mahu Vishnu Noonward Race. Like it started off with that fast tempo percussion is once again at that Hellion speed. But listen to how different, right? Like from here compared to. And the way they transitioned it and took down the energy or changed it, I guess you could say. That was really good, huh? So we definitely, like, I got that heavier intro, the riff from Santana, and I haven't even mentioned the bass playing, David Brown. It's been good, I just haven't mentioned it, but just to get it out there, David Brown on the bass. The riff from them, really fantastic. Once again, still backed up from some wonderful percussion, and I like how still you have that Latin infusion here, even though with that riff, it kind of goes into a straightforward rock and roll sound. But then they slowly change everything, and it becomes almost jazz standardish. So in the first part, once again, you have Greg Rowley on the organ, which just brings a sensational sound and a mood to everything. But the moment when Santana comes in and it's his turn for the solo, Rowley changes from organ into piano to give it a lighter, but also a little flavor of jazzy kind of taste. And I really like that switch. So he not only does he change, like, of course, the solo aspect, but the underlying melody, the actual sound from organ to piano at that point, which I think is a lovely way to introduce a transition, kind of giving a new role and setting for whoever's going to solo next, Santana in this case, without changing everything about it, while of course drums and percussion continue to linger on there. But then we bring in the subtlety, that very, very mellow section where it changes that energy. I didn't look at it where exactly that is. Right about there. See, you have that kind of, to me, it's a very proggy, fusiony change, right? That and then from there, it changes completely into that. And I always say it, but it's like that bowl is just emptied out, and we're just left with whatever crumbs are remaining. But it's once again kind of calling back to the opening track with those kind of beautiful winds. To me, this feels a little bit more beachfronty, a little bit more sea going and oceanic. And then even from there, they build up. You get the bossa nova beat that kicks in a little bit. That right, and it just goes from there. I think that is sensational. Piano is always present and always doing something wonderful. I think that this is a sensational way to end this particular side of the album. There is a Wikipedia page for this particular track. So it says here that Santana stated, Neshabur is where the army of Toussaint Louverture, who was a black revolutionary, defeated Napoleon in Haiti. So that's what it's about. I think by writing songs like Incident at Neshabur, we felt like we were our own kind of revolutionary. Alberto Gianquinto, our pianist on Abraxas. Why isn't Alberto even mentioned on here? Oh, I do see him. Okay. He's the piano player on this track, not necessarily the whole album. Helped us a lot in putting it together. The first part of the music is from Horace Silver's Senior Blues. The slow part is from Aretha Franklin's This Girl's in Love with You. Okay, so I don't know those tracks, but I guess once again they've kind of taken inspiration, we'll say, melodically and such, from these two aforementioned tracks and inserted it into their songs. So they bring in a lot of outside influences into their music, but they make it their own as they go further, I'm assuming. Sounds like it to me. Anyways, let's move on into the second side of the album. But before we do, I don't always do it, but sometimes I like to throw in a little test to see who's still watching at this particular moment. So if you're still watching at this particular moment, what's happening on my screen right now? Put it in the comments. You're gonna comment anyway. Just put whatever's happening on this little screen here behind me in the comment first, and then we'll move on. So let's do that. Moving on to the second side of the album, we're moving on to the first track, A Cabo. Hopefully I said that right. A Cabo. Hope so. There you go. I like a drum bass. Go. To a game show or something. Ooh, brought the heat on that one. Organ screaming. I love the restart. Puts you right in the middle of them. That melody sounds familiar. Ooh, okay. Once again, it's pretty much an instrumental. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but this was a quick re-entry from orbit. You got the fire, you got the heat, and then you splash landed in the water. What else can I say? Percussion is out of this world. I mean, especially the pop 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 pop. When you can hear the skin on the head of the drum and it starts to bend, that little pitch on it. When you hear that and feel that, that is when fantastic production has been done, great recording. The band and the engineers put you in the middle of the mix, and they really make you feel that drum. They make you feel that conga or whatever it may be, and that is sensational. Once again, you bring in a harder riff from Santana, ba, 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 not to mention how it opens, but it always gives room. Matter of fact, I thought that when it opened, and even the middle section, I thought we were going to have basically a percussion solo or a drum solo of sorts, but we didn't, because the bass entered and then the organ followed that. But even though they didn't give us like a drum solo, I still feel in a way like it kind of acts in certain ways like a drum solo without necessarily isolating it to that. Just an energetic re-entry into the album when you flip the record over. So let's move on to the next track. I almost let them play together, but I wanted to say just a few things on A Cabo, which also, by the way, because I translated it while we were listening to it, means it's over. So that's what it is. Even though I think that would have been more fitting for probably the end of the first side of the album, or the ending of the album. But what do I know? Let's go ahead and listen to the next track, which is Mother's Daughter. Here we go. Almost sound like Ian Anderson for just a second.
Your stupid game is about to end.
Sounds good.
You played it out, thought you had it made. And it looks like someone passed you by again. Left her standing in her corner. She told me she was trying to find a way. I got to leave before I get my shoulder, 'cause she ain't moved in nearly 40 days. Got a woman that's treating me better. She takes her time and she ain't so cruel. I got someone to take you over. Your mother ain't so bad, what happened to you?
That heavy little transition. Nice panning too. Big bass play. I have a question. Do you guys think that Santana, with Mother's Daughter, oops, I just hit the mic. Do you think that they were listening to Led Zeppelin at this point? Because this track, the way that Santana's singing, do you also kind of gather a little bit of a Robert Plant influence in there? I feel like this is Santana doing his best Led Zeppelin Robert Plant, like, what's the word I was gonna say? Impression. Doesn't he sound like he's kind of... I was listening to it, I'm like, this is sounding like something. I'm like, that Zeppelin influence, there's some lead in there. I don't know. You know, obviously they're contemporaries and such, but maybe they weren't listening to it. Maybe it was just happenstance. But I gotta tell you that, especially in the rock and roll aspect of it, the guitar, very guitar heavy here. I like how the organ is used to back up that guitar riff a lot of times. Percussion and drums are just rambunctious. This is a rambunctious kind of a rock and roll song. And even kind of lyrically, I mean, got no time for fooling with you, baby. He mentioned baby in the first line. If you tell me that there is no Led Zeppelin influence in here, I might call you a liar. Your stupid game is about to end. You played it out, thought you had it made, and it looks like someone passed you by again. I left her standing in the corner. She told me she was trying to find her way. I've got to leave before I get much older, because she ain't moved in nearly 40 days. I've got a woman that's treating me better. She takes her time and she ain't so cruel. I've got someone to take you over. Your mother ain't so bad. What happened to you? That's a line. I'll tell you that. Are we in a safari? Because that's a lion. That... With that being said, let's move on into the next track here, which is Samba Pa Ti. Let's go. Let's just samba on past all that. I love that note. I love that little chord right there and the changes. I don't know why it hits me. Thunderbird of an organ coming up through. So even though the name looked familiar, I have definitely not heard this particular track before. But this is what it sounds like to me. This is the emotions I was feeling as I was listening. It went from almost this, to me, this mournful, not quite a dirge, but perhaps a widow crying, or someone crying over the loss of something, or maybe it's not even that far, but just someone in a state of sadness. And then when that thunderbird of an organ comes screaming in, there's almost there's this moment of realization. There's this moment where it moves from grieving, sadness, mournful, to time to move on, hopeful, better things to come, keep on going, keep moving forward, inspiration. When that organ came in, I feel like that was the catalyst for what was to come next and those feelings to come next. Because the sadness never left. For example, when Carlos is playing in the beginning, I am feeling pure tears on his guitar. When it moves on after that war cry from the organ and moves on to the next section, the tears haven't dried on the guitar strings, but it is being played and delivered with a little bit more motivation behind it. There's a newfound strength and moving through that melancholy, moving through that frame of pain into better and future things, a brighter future. That's just what I heard listening to it, and I was very, very moved by Carlos's playing. Some of the chords in the beginning actually were really moving as well. I felt them, and I love when just it could be a simple chord change, but it makes an emotional difference, and I felt that in the very beginning. And then even as Santana threw in a little bit of shreddiness in there, he threw a little bit of shredded cheese, it felt good. And I don't think that emotion was lost. It just gave it a newfound elation. I think that's the best way to describe the second part of this track, was elated. Looks like this one was released as a single, 1973, charting at number 11 in the Netherlands and 43 in Germany. It was written by Santana after he witnessed a jazz saxophonist playing in the street outside his apartment. He says, Samba Pa Ti was conceived in New York City on a Sunday afternoon. He opened the window, saw a man in the street, drunk and playing saxophone, and I kept looking at him because he was struggling with himself. He couldn't make up his mind which one to put in his mouth first, the sax or the bottle, and I immediately hear a song. I wrote the whole thing right there. Carlos Santana. That's cool. Hopefully he didn't listen note for note what the saxophonist was playing and said, let me write that down real quick. We got getting inspiration from it, but hopefully not just straight copying what was being played there. Let's move on into the next track here, which I'm going to let the next two go together because the final track, El Nicoya, is only 1 minute and 30 seconds long. So let's just let both of them play together. So Hope You're Feeling Better is the next track, and then leading into El Nicoya. Here we go. Heavy one. Is this Van de Graaff generator? Some psychedelic to it. Big clap. That had some bite to it. That is a good heavy song. Had a bite to it. And that is the end of the album. But let's back it up off of Nicoya. Going back to Hope You're Feeling Better. He's saying it with some anger, though. That track is the rockinest, the rollinest, the dirtiest, the brawliest of the rock and roll tracks here on the album. I love it. That is a really good track. Remember how on the other track I said like there might be a Led Zeppelin influence? You may be able to argue that on Hope You're Feeling Better, but I don't think so. I think this was just Santana just going straight H-A-M-M. This was him going off. I put way too loud. Hold on. Come on. And the way he's saying it, he's saying, Hope You're Feeling Better. But the way he's singing it, it ain't. He's like, I hope you're feeling better. Right? And his guitar, I know after this track, it was on fire. His fingers were bleeding. It's heavy. Once again, how the bass and the organ push everything even to that greater depth is fantastic. Just blazing on this one. The percussion even, I would say, backs up in this one on the heaviness. Like, you know, before I was saying like the percussion is heavy, but it's kind of adding to a certain atmosphere, whether it is in the front or in the back. Like, it's adding an atmosphere. Here, the percussion is really just slamming on top of it with everything else. And the drums are going to be more front and center on this one than I feel like in any other track. Just, whoo. And they gave you like a few moments of like, here's your little break, but it was few and far between, but it was well earned. That was a really great track. And they did do something. They did lighten up when they moved into the next track with Nicoya, which sounded like a track that you would hear from some like buskers on the side, like playing this music, which I love that. When you have the acoustic guitar just strumming along, some, once again, strong, fun percussion to add into the rhythmic mix of it. It's just a wonderful, lively mix of music here. And once again, the band members calling out and singing certain lines. It's just a wonderful way of playing. It's like, we're getting two completely different contrasting places here, and yet the band does a great job in unifying these two places. Let's look at the lyrics for Hope You're Feeling Better. Is that you, your eyes slowly fading? Is that you, your mind full of tears? Is that you searching for a good time? Is that you waiting for all these years? Hope you're feeling better, hope you're feeling good, hope you're feeling better. Is that you, look across the ocean? Is that you thinking nothing's here? Waiting for the sunshine when all you see is glare. That's a good line. Each time, by the way, it says, is that you? I'm just not repeating that whole thing. Who never saw your baby, who never had a friend. Move into a new town, will diamonds replace your friends? Ooh, calling them out. Never saw your baby, never saw your friends. Now you're trying to replace your life with diamonds? How's that working out? Hope you're feeling better. Hope you're feeling good. There's that kind of like, I on one hand, I do actually want you to do better, but I want you to do better. You know, there's some angst, some venom being spat there. Once again, you could tell by how he was singing. And then with El Nicoya, let me do the translation here. Doesn't translate all of it, but it gives me let's go Chapito. I don't know what that means exactly, but vamos, let's go. So, wonderful album. I hope that you guys enjoyed listening to it alongside with me. Best tracks, did I back up too far? Best tracks on here, Hope You're Feeling Better, definitely is one of the best tracks. I actually really, really like the subtlety of the opening track with Singing Winds. So I would actually put that in there as well. It kind of, I'll put it like this. I really, really love the atmosphere of Caravanserai. I say it wrong every time. Caravanserai. And I think that Singing Winds kind of gets closest to that atmosphere, and I really like that. So if I have to choose two tracks, I'm actually going to go Hope You're Feeling Better and Singing Winds, even though I don't think that there was a weak track on this album. So I think it's a success all around. Let me know what you guys thought. Thank you so much for spending the time here with me, by the way. I really appreciate you spending, I'm assuming an hour, a little over an hour, whatever it may be. Maybe it's under an hour. I don't know. But I hope that you guys, enjoyed spending some time here on the channel with me, listening to me talk, listening to the music, just engaging. I wish I could do this live, but this is the next best thing. Just me verbally saying thank you and, of course, replying to comments and stuff. So thank you guys for being here. If you didn't do it at the beginning, like button, subscribe, Patreon, follow me in a bunch of places, all of that other jazz. But thank you for being here. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, your weekend if you're watching this on the day that it's coming out, or whatever day you're catching this video. That's it. That's the video. Have a great one. Have a good one, guys. I will see you all later. Bye.